Hi, in this video we'll go over all the intake and exhaust side of the turbo setup and all the plugs and things you should do in order to prepare your Lexus for a turbo build. My previous manual swap video I just looped back this transcooler, but since I don't have this automatic transmission anymore, then I just deleted this and replaced it with a silicone hose that is a 45-degree angle hose, 16mm inner diameter. I did add, just in case, this thermal isolation to the silicone pipe because it's right under the exhaust header. And be sure to leave this clamp so you can undo it from the underneath. I wrapped the first three manifold headers for the heat concerns, and I added a turbo blanket here because the intake is right over the hot side of the turbo. Then back here, this factory hose I cut from each side about 3 centimeters maybe, and now it's much more closer to the wall. There's no kink and there's fairly good distance between the downpipe and this hose. For the intercooler piping, I undid the wires from here and then cut the hole here, and also this crash sensor was mounted on the side here, so I mounted it on the top here. So it's basically in the same location, but this will give more space here. I welded this PCV valve shut. I deleted the butterfly valve and I blocked off this pipe here. You can also delete this butterfly valve here, and also you don't need this tiny wire here that goes to somewhere down here. You can just delete all of that. Anyone claiming that removing this fucking butterfly valve is easy, fuck you. These are Phillips screws, but there's no way to undo them. I tried with several crossheads and wrenches and whatever. These are not coming out. You have to use a Dremel, do the bolts, and then you get it out. So I would recommend to just leave it and fixate it with the zip tie or something and not bother with getting it out. Be sure to cover your intake port so that this dust from the Dremel won't get into your engine. Completely deleted this butterfly valve and I JB welded the bolt. Blocked off the inside of this pipe here. It goes to the injectors, but I won't be using it. But here on this evap line I added one-way valve, so it can only pull vacuum, and if boost tries to go through here it will be blocked. So this way I will not pressurize the gas tank. So currently the PCV line goes from here, from behind the box here, and into the intake. For the exhaust manifolds, since I'm using the stock ECU, I welded bank 1 sensor to this header and bank 2 sensor to that header. So they're both sensor 1. So bank 1 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 1. So these you have to mount here in order to run a turbo setup with your stock ECU. For the AM wideband, the oxygen sensor is in the downpipe. The wire goes along the firewall there, and then it goes down from here. I also run a vacuum line from the fuel regulator also through the same hole, and they end up going to the navigation. I retained the bank 2 sensor to oxygen sensor. This is only needed if you want to get rid of cells. It is really important that you keep this bracket here. Mine had rusted out, so a new one was built. If you don't have this, the entire downpipe and this exhaust will be hanging freely for very long and resonance will happen. So this will actually prevent your downpipe from hurting your turbo setup, or like your exhaust manifold, otherwise will carry all of this. The intercooler piping starts with a 90-degree silicone here. Goes down 45 degrees over the roll bar, so it goes over the roll bar and then under the radiator hose. It does a 45-degree angle up here, So I don't know how well you can see it, but it comes down from there. Then it does a 90 here. I added some extra bracket here so this wouldn't move. It's really sturdy. And then it goes all the way to this side. Here I have a coupler, and then I cut the hole here into this plastic. And then here it does a U-turn. This was welded, so this is not the perfect U-turn. It goes a bit up and then turns back. It's not a straight U-turn. And I think here you can a bit see also how this U shape is done. So this one went to the sway bar basically. Well, from here it's pretty standard. Goes to the intercooler. Intercooler is mounted to the crash bar with some S-shaped metal brackets. From here maybe you can see it. Yeah, it's just hanging here. And from the bottom I also added one bracket here. So this intercooler is super solid. It's not moving, clanking, nothing. This is just a 90 degrees and it's pointed a bit up. And here I have a silicone coupler of 45 degrees. I've got the blow-off valve installed here behind the bumper. Be sure to put it upwards, otherwise this washer will block it and hit it, so it won't fit then. So this pipe's inner diameter is 72 millimeters. And, now got the intake also redone. So 45, 90 and the pi stays in here. The steering radiator used to be here, but I added aftermarket one. I attached it to here. Got it off AliExpress. Very nice. These hoses go from behind this bracket and they go to the stock locations, which I bent a bit. But from here on it's stock. So even though you have to really hardcore trim and cut this part out, then I was able to retain the xenon light washers. On that side I didn't have to do any trimming or nothing, but from this side here I started my own hose, because this pipe will block the stock hoses here. So I extended this, directed this one towards here. So originally this goes to here, so I changed it. And I also had to trim this bracket here a bit to make room for this pipe here. Also some custom line from here, and it goes to the stock pump location. So these headlight washers are totally operational still.